Today we have with us Dr. Vimalendu Brajesh, who is an eminent plastic surgeon. Today we will know from him what steps should be taken if someone gets hurt or suffers from an injury due to a fall or gets burnt while cooking, or suffers from a dog bite or any animal bite. What first aid should be given before an expert opinion is given?
Yeah, this is a very nice question. Actually, these are the types of injury which we face in day-to-day life. Most often we have cut injuries while we are chopping our food in the kitchen, or sometimes the hot oil or hot boiling water can spill over and cause scald burns on our hands, or while playing in the playground the kid may fall down and have an injury, or these days this stray dog bite have become quite a menace. So these are the common injuries which we come across in our day-to-day life, and yes, we need to manage them, and the best way to manage them is to give a thorough wash. There is no alternative to thorough wash. Problem is that we don't, during the time of injury, we do not understand what type of wash we should be giving, and the most common and the easiest wash that can be given to clean the wound is to use the normal drinking water. Now the normal drinking water is available at any place, anytime, and therefore whatever injury you have, whether be it a cut injury, be it a injury due to fall, or due to burn, or due to dog bite, any sort of injury should be washed thoroughly with water. And by meaning thoroughly means you should wash it for at least 5 minutes, so that the wound becomes clean of any dirt, and in cases of burn the temperature goes down. The common practice of using ice over the burn should never be done. This is a wrong practice. Only drinking water should be used to wash the wound, and if at all you have access to normal saline, nothing better than that. And if you have a nearby shop, then you can get normal saline bottle and wash the wound thoroughly with. If suppose drinking water is also not available, if the saline water is also not available, then the normal running tap water is even good enough to give a wash to the wound. So first and foremost step is to give a wash, and after that whatever dressing you have should be applied over the wound. But here I would like to make a point that most commonly people start using this cotton which sticks to the wound, and it is not only painful while removing the cotton, but also it sticks to the wound and some particles may remain stuck to the wound, which may lead to infection. So cotton should be strictly avoided while covering the wound. The best thing that can be used is this gauze piece. We call this a gauze piece, which is actually a woven cotton, and this is the thing which should be used while covering the dressing. Now it would be even better if we have something which is non-adherent. Non-adherent means something, so this dressing is something which does not adhere to the wound, and if we just open it and show you, this is how we open it, and you see, this is the wound, this is the dressing. It has got paraffin in it, so it does not stick to the wound, and it has got antiseptic solution impregnated to it, so it does not stick to the wound, and it has got antiseptic solution also. If you see, it has got the same thing which is called chlorhexidine, which is also present. So it is the same thing, but it does not adhere to your wound. So whatever dressing you use to cover the wound should be something like a non-adherent dressing, like this chlorhexidine paraffin impregnated gauze, and over that you can put some absorbing dressing like this gauze. So this is what the practice should be: washing the wound thoroughly and then applying this dressing.
Doctor, many times there is bleeding. What should be done to stop bleeding?
Yeah, very true. So when you have a bleeding, do not panic is the first thing, And to stop the bleeding, apply firm pressure and with the help of any clean object you can find, but please do not use cotton for that. Use either a gauze, or if you have a clean handkerchief you can use even that. Apply a firm pressure over the part which has cut and then keep holding it for some time. If you keep it holding for 1 or 2 minutes, the bleeding will stop, and after that again the steps that I have mentioned. Wash it thoroughly with water and then apply the dressing as has been explained before this.
Sir, is it common to apply Savlon, Dettol or betadine to the wound as a first aid? Do you recommend using them?
Yeah, it is a common practice to use either Savlon, betadine, or for that matter Dettol, which is readily available at our home, and most of the people as a first aid kit keep these things at home. But I have nothing against these using of these products, but let me tell you that betadine, whoever has used the betadine will understand how painful it is to use the betadine, and also betadine causes staining of the wound, so it becomes very difficult for the expert to whom you are taking the patient for the first time to assess properly the wound, and then he has to rub and clean that betadine before he can assess the wound. And therefore I would say that using the betadine is not recommended. Second thing is the Savlon, which is again very readily available, and it also has this chlorhexidine with it, and the dressing which I am recommending is also has chlorhexidine. But the good thing about that dressing is that it is non-adherent, so it has got a paraffin impregnated in it, and therefore it does not stick to the wound, and it's very easy to remove that dressing. Also, if you see in Savlon, the chlorhexidine has got strong formula. It's written here strong formula. So before using it, you need to dilute this, and it's a common practice that we, without diluting, we use this Savlon, and this may cause burn in and around the skin, and it may also interfere with the healing of the wound. And therefore I would say, instead of Savlon, if you could have the access to this chlorhexidine gauze, that should be kept at home, and this has got a very good long shelf life, and it is also sterile. If you see, it comes packed in this, and it has got the label of sterile, and it is fairly it has a good shelf life of around 3 years, so it can be kept at home in cases of emergency. It comes in very handy, and it should be part of our first aid kit at home. The third thing which we commonly mistake by using is the Dettol. Now, Dettol is very painful if you apply on an open wound, and therefore I would strictly recommend against using Dettol in any type of wound.
What dressing material do you recommend to be kept at home as first aid?
Yes, yeah, it's a very nice question, that what should be kept as a first aid kit at our home. And we usually keep some medicine, common medicine at home, but in the name of surgical dressing kit we hardly keep anything, and the most common thing that we keep is this Dettol or Savlon, and then a band-aid. That's all that we keep at our home, and it should be a practice to keep at least 2 or 3 things that I have recommended earlier. That is the non-adherent dressing, which is paraffin chlorhexidine impregnated non-adherent dressing, which can be of any brand, whatever you want, and a gauze. This gauze is absorbent, so this gauze is the dressing material which should be kept at home. It comes in a sterile pack, and remember, it also comes in an unsterile pack, so I would strongly recommend that a sterile pack should be used. And while buying this, you should also always see that it's mentioned sterile. It can be autoclaved or it can be EO sterile, but it should be mentioned clearly that it is sterile, and that is the gauze that you should be using in any situation where you need a dressing to be applied.